The giant anaconda, that should not exist. Deep beneath the surface of the Amazon rainforest lies a mystery so vast that even modern science hesitates to speak its name. A creature longer than most boats, heavier than many automobiles, silent, invisible, patient. The giant anaconda is not a myth. It is a verified animal. Yet, almost everything we believe about it may be wrong. What if the anaconda we know is only the smallest version of what truly exists in the depths of South America's flooded forests? What if some individuals grow beyond the biological limits we assume for snakes? And what if this has already happened? Hidden not in legends, but in forgotten reports, classified surveys, and eyewitness testimonies too unsettling to publish. Tonight, we are not hunting monsters. We are hunting evidence, because somewhere in the Blackwater rivers, beneath the tangled roots of submerged trees, something massive still moves. And its story rewrites everything we think we know about predators, evolution, and the boundary between science and mystery. The green anaconda, scientifically known as Eunyctes murinus, already holds the title of the heaviest snake on Earth. Adults commonly reach lengths of 5 to 6 meters and can weigh over 200 kilograms. Unlike venomous snakes, anacondas kill by constriction. They strike, coil, and tighten until blood flow stops, not air. This means prey loses consciousness in seconds. Then the snake swallows its victim whole. But what makes the anaconda truly unsettling is not its size alone. It is how perfectly adapted it is to invisibility. Its eyes and nostrils sit on top of its head like a crocodile's, allowing it to breathe and observe while nearly its entire body remains submerged. Its skin absorbs light rather than reflecting it, making it nearly invisible in Blackwater rivers. And unlike most snakes, the anaconda does not flee from humans. It holds its position, waiting. This behavioral pattern alone unsettles herpetologists because it mirrors ambush predators like crocodilians rather than serpents. Yet this is only the surface layer of the mystery, because when researchers began comparing historical accounts, indigenous knowledge, and modern field data, something disturbing emerged. The size limits of anacondas might not be fixed at all. In 1932, a British petroleum exploration team working along the Orinoco River basin filed an internal report describing a snake unlike any previously documented. According to the archived memo, the animal measured over 11 meters in length and had a girth wider than an oil drum. The team claimed the snake was first mistaken for a fallen tree trunk until it moved. When they attempted to photograph it, the camera jammed. When they tried to retrieve measuring equipment, the snake vanished into the river without sound. The report was classified as unreliable and quietly buried in corporate archives. But decades later, wildlife historians discovered that multiple, independent expeditions in the same region described nearly identical animals within a 20-year span. The descriptions matched in size, behavior, and even scar patterns, yet no physical evidence was ever recovered. The files were marked anomalous and excluded from scientific literature. But here is where the mystery deepens. In the margins of one report, a handwritten note from a field biologist reads, "Subject exhibits locomotive displacement exceeding known muscular capacity for serpents. Suggest reevaluation of maximum growth constraints." This was not folklore. This was not myth. This was internal scientific alarm. Long before Western science reached the Amazon basin, indigenous tribes told stories of a creature they called the river eater. According to the oral traditions of the Yekawana, Yanomami, and Takuna peoples, this snake was not merely large. It was old, older than memory, older than trees. They described it as a guardian of flooded forests and a devourer of animals, boats, and sometimes people. These stories were not told as legends but as warnings. Hunters were taught never to camp near certain bends in rivers because the water itself could rise and drag them under. Elders described the river eater as leaving spiral patterns in mud wider than a canoe and crushing caiman-like twigs. Anthropologists initially dismissed these accounts as symbolic metaphors for flooding or crocodiles. But when researchers compared these oral maps with satellite imagery, something unsettling emerged. The areas associated with river eater stories corresponded with zones of unusually high livestock disappearances, missing boats, and unexplained drownings. Even more disturbing, these locations also overlapped with regions of exceptional anaconda density. But the tribes insisted these were not ordinary snakes. They spoke of individuals thicker than tree trunks, capable of bending young trees when surfacing. And perhaps most disturbing of all, they said the river eater did not flee humans. It watched them. Modern herpetology teaches that snakes are limited in size by three main factors: metabolic efficiency, structural bone strength, and oxygen diffusion through tissue. As animals grow larger, it becomes harder for muscles to receive enough oxygen to function, and bones must support increasing mass. For most snakes, these limits appear to cap maximum length at around 7 to 8 meters. But the green anaconda already pushes these boundaries. Unlike terrestrial snakes, anacondas live in water. Buoyancy reduces gravitational stress on bones and muscles, allowing them to grow heavier without structural collapse. Additionally, anacondas have one of the slowest metabolic rates among reptiles, meaning their tissues require less oxygen relative to body mass. Their cardiovascular system also displays unusual elasticity in blood vessels, allowing high-pressure circulation even during constriction events. These traits already make anacondas biological outliers. But what happens when these adaptations compound over decades in individuals with exceptional genetics, minimal competition, and abundant prey? The answer may be unsettling. Because when researchers analyzed growth data from captive and wild anacondas over 50 years, they found no consistent asymptotic plateau in size. Some individuals continued growing throughout their entire lifespan. And unlike mammals, reptiles do not have a fixed genetic endpoint for body size. They grow as long as resources and environment permit. In theory, an anaconda living long enough in an ideal environment could reach sizes far beyond current records. And that raises a question no scientist wants to answer publicly. How large is too large? Between 1978 and 2004, Brazilian authorities recorded over 300 disappearances in remote floodplain communities along tributaries of the Amazon. Most were fishermen. Some were cattle herders. Others were children playing near riverbanks. Official causes ranged from drowning to crocodile attacks. Yet in dozens of cases, no bodies were recovered. No clothing, no blood, no drag marks. In several incidents, eyewitnesses described the water surface suddenly bulging upward before the victim vanished. In one case in the state of Amazonas, 3 men traveling by canoe reported feeling the boat lift beneath them, tilt sideways, and then drop violently as something large moved beneath the hull. They reached shore unharmed but refused to return to the water. Authorities attributed these accounts to panic and hallucination, but a forensic wildlife specialist later examined the damaged canoe and noted compression fractures inconsistent with crocodile bite patterns or submerged debris. The marks suggested uniform pressure applied over a broad curved surface, a shape more consistent with a massive cylindrical body. The report was classified inconclusive and archived, but patterns began to emerge when researchers plotted disappearance locations over time. They clustered around slow-moving oxbow lakes and submerged forest corridors, exactly the habitats favored by anacondas. But here is the anomaly. The frequency of disappearances far exceeded what would be expected even from the densest known snake populations, which suggests either statistical impossibility or something far larger than documented anacondas operating in those waters. If you enjoyed uncovering these amazing animal secrets, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to stay updated on all our future videos. Don't forget to click the bell icon, so you'll never miss out on more fascinating stories from the animal kingdom. Thank you for watching, and we can't wait to explore more hidden secrets with you in the next video.